Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it has been a hot minute since I do a Q&A just by myself. So I think the last time we did one of these, Joe was here next to me. Today he's not here. He's working down in the basement. We're like trying to get stuff like organized in the basement. So he's not here. He's doing that. I thought that this would be the perfect chance to just sit and chat with you guys, talk about some things, give you an update on my life, on YouTube, on all of the things. I asked you guys over on Instagram to ask me questions, so I have them here. My phone is charging, so I'm gonna have to probably plug it back in. I haven't looked at the questions too much because I kind of wanted to give you like my first initial response, but there were a lot of questions just about motherhood. I got a bunch of questions about the envelope method. We're gonna talk about finances and all of that, and surprisingly like a lot of questions about YouTube. So we're gonna jump into that, but first and foremost I want to thank Winc for sponsoring today's video. This is the second time that I work with Winc, and I have my box of wines over here that I need to open. I honestly have not opened them at all, so we're gonna open this together. This box is like the size of me. I've got 4 wines in here that I'm going to be trying. So we're just gonna chill together. So I know you guys are probably watching this like first thing in the morning, and if you are, you know, maybe you're not drinking wine, but maybe you can just enjoy like a coffee. But maybe later you guys can enjoy a glass of wine once the kids are in bed, like they aren't right now. Like Jackson and Riley are asleep. This is just so nice to be able to do this. So you get 4 wines, and if you guys have never heard of Winc before, if you didn't watch the last video, Winc is awesome. It's just like the best way to get your wines. You get to try new wines. They're delivered to your doorstep. Like nothing is more convenient than that, especially like right now when you're not really trying to go to the stores all that often. So you go online, you take a really quick quiz. You take like a 6-question palate quiz, and then they kind of match you up with wines that they think that you'll enjoy, and then they send you your wine. So this one says Alma Libre 2020 Sauvignon Blanc. Got this one, which is another white wine. It says Outer Sounds, and I'll show you guys the labels because the labels are always super cool. 2020 Sauvignon Blanc. I'm not gonna have enough space to put this stuff on this tiny table. And then I've got, what is this? This one is pretty cool. Funk Zone red wine, 2019 red wine blend. This one, Mercana, which is a Malbec. Ooh, we like Malbec. Joe is gonna be thrilled about this because I told him that he couldn't try any of the wines yet until I filmed this video, so he's been on my case about that. So maybe later tonight he can enjoy a glass of wine. And I love working with Winc because they always give me like a really nice discount for you guys. So I think the discount this time around is you get 4 wines at 40% off plus free shipping. So you actually get like a box of 4 wines for I think under $39. I mean, can you really beat that? They're very affordable. These are wines that you can't find at the stores too. So you can't go to Publix, wherever you do your shopping, you can't find these wines, because what they do is they work with like smaller vineyards and winemakers and stuff. The quality is great. So this is something that is definitely fun to do. I think, like I said last time, it makes for a great date night, like doing a little wine tasting. It's a great way to like discover what kinds of wines you like, because normally I'm not the kind of person that's like gonna go to the store and just like try random things. So if that sounds like something that might be of interest to you guys, then definitely make sure to check out the link down below in the description box. All the information, if there's a code that you have to use, it'll be down there. But thank you again to Winc for making this happen. So I'm gonna be answering questions, and then we'll start opening up some wines, but I know you guys want to get to the questions. So has it been hard to make mom friends since moving during a pandemic? Yes, it has been super hard. Luckily, I mean, obviously I have you guys that I talk to all the time. I talk to you guys on Instagram, so I wouldn't say that I'm like lonely. Joe was actually asking me this the other day. He's like, don't you like want to go out and like make friends? And I'm like, first of all, how am I supposed to do that right now? Like, I'm trying to limit my in-person conversations with people. But I don't really feel lonely because of the fact that I have this community, and I'm always just engaging with you guys on Instagram and responding to comments and stuff like that. That has been like one of the biggest blessings with having a YouTube channel, that I can't say that I, you know, don't feel like I'm connecting with anyone. Like, I'm not lonely in person though. Like, yes, it's been hard because like I said, I'm not going out, I'm not really doing stuff. We do have, like, Joe has one coworker that I know, his wife, and she is awesome, and we've gotten together one time since we've been here. We went outside to like this little shop that there is there. We were like hanging out by our cars, and like that was the extent of our visit. But yes, it's been hard, and I don't know, maybe it'll get easier. Like, I know that our neighbors, like when we went for Halloween trick-or-treating, like our neighbors were all super nice, and I mean, I would love to get to know them. So I'm hoping that here soon the situation will be different, so that we can do a little bit more of that like socializing, you know, what normal people do. So this person asked, like in a weird way, but they said, screen time, all about your choice and how it has helped your kids. So look, I know that screen time is very controversial, and like I actually just went to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor was telling me how sad it is because so many kids are coming in there. They're having to like prescribe them reading glasses. So that does concern me. the whole eyesight thing, and so that's why like I'm trying to limit it a bit with Riley, in the sense that I'm trying to make sure that it's not like all up in her face all the time. But I'm still like an avid proponent of screen time. Like, I'm not gonna take away Riley's iPad, and Jackson watches Mickey Mouse Club when he's eating his lunch and his breakfast. I feel that Riley has learned so much through watching shows and things. You guys see her, like she's like a tiny little adult, and I'm like, hi, you're not even 3 yet. So I know that a lot of that has to do with the fact that she's been watching, you know, Baby Einstein and super simple songs like since she was teeny tiny. So yes, I think it's still important to like monitor what she's watching and to make sure that, you know, she's not doing stuff that she shouldn't be doing or watching things she shouldn't be watching. But I do believe in balance, and I don't believe in 100%, you know, yes, just give her screen time all the time, because that's not what she does. Like, she's still playing, she's still interacting with me. It's not like I just sit her in a corner and I'm like, here's your iPad and, you know, goodbye, I'll see you later. So I don't believe in that extreme, but I also don't believe in the extreme of like, okay, there's no screen time allowed in my house, so maybe only 5 minutes a day. Like, that's just not how we do things. So I never make apologies for that, because that's just how we do things. So I'm gonna open up, let's start off with a white and then do a red. Are you not supposed to mix wines in that order? I know that there's like supposedly like an order, but I also, you know, just kind of do things on my own terms. So I'm gonna open the ones that I don't have to use the actual wine opener thing for. So I'm gonna do these that are just screw top. So this one over here is Outer Sounds. I was gonna say Outer Banks for some reason. Have you guys watched that show? Is that a show? Am I getting it correct? Like, isn't there like a show that everybody was into, Outer Banks? But it's not what this is. It's called Outer Sounds. By the way, if you hear like loud banging, like no one's breaking into my house, it's just Joe downstairs in the basement. He's moving boxes and all of that. And he's just trying to set up stuff down in the basement so that eventually we can build like shelving, so we can put like all of our boxes and storage and stuff like down in the basement, instead of just like having things thrown everywhere. Surprisingly, there's a lot of things from our old house that are just still in boxes, because this house has, is it like that it has less bedrooms, or I don't know, for some reason this house, like there were a lot of pieces from our old house that we just never had a spot for here. So there's a lot of stuff still down there. And I know that a lot of you guys were recommending to me that I use one of those, what do you call them, like the Facebook groups where you just give away stuff, the buy nothing groups. I don't know if you guys have them where you live, but we have used them, and we've actually given away quite a few things. Like, we gave away one of our couches. We gave it away to someone here in the community. It was that their daughter was moving into an apartment, so we gave them the couch. This past weekend, I was giving away a trash can. Like, I posted a trash can, and I was like, nobody's gonna want a trash can. I got like freaking 19 responses on that trash can. I was like, okay, wow, like a lot of people want this stuff that's just laying around in our house that's just taking up space. So we are gonna be doing more of that. I gave away some of the kids' old toys, so we're trying to do that. So that's why Joe's kind of going down there to see, you know, what we can like post on these pages and take pictures of stuff. So it's a process, but we need to get stuff straightened up down there. All right, so let's taste this. I kind of poured a little bit more than I wanted to, but that tastes very yummy, and it's not even chilled, because usually I like my white wine chilled, but that is very delicious. Do you nurse Jackson to sleep, or do you still put him down awake? So I get questions about this too, and I can see why it would be a little bit confusing, but I do nurse him whenever he goes down for sleep, whether that's naps or nighttime, whatever. I will nurse him. Sometimes he falls asleep completely, and then I put him in his crib and he stays sleeping. Other times he's just more awake, and then in those times I just leave him there in the crib, and sometimes he cries for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Sometimes he cries longer than that, and that's when he's fighting his naps and all of that. But other times, you know, he'll cry for 5 minutes, and then he realizes, okay, it's time to go to sleep, and he puts himself to sleep. So I will nurse him, but it just kind of depends on what happens after that. I'm gonna close up this box so it's not like all up here on the couch. There's like a special way to close this box. Is that not it? Guess not. It's like a puzzle. You get wine and a puzzle. I think I got it right now. There you go. Right, I'm gonna put this box right over here so that if Joe gets here, like if he comes back up, I can give him the box so he can put it in the recycling. Would you consider doing Vlogmas? I would love to watch your Vlogmas with the kiddos. So first of all, thank you. I'm glad that you would be interested in Vlogmas. I'm gonna tell you guys straight up that I have thought so much about doing Vlogmas, and I was thinking about it like 2 months ago. I was thinking about it this month. Like, I've gone back and forth about doing an official Vlogmas. And this year, I am just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because I don't wanna put that kind of pressure on me during such a chaotic time. Like, if you guys have been following my vlogs, you guys know like how much is happening in my life, that there's the holidays, we're going to Panama City, my parents may be coming up here for Christmas, Joe's mom is probably coming here for Christmas, my sister's supposed to be getting married in January, so there's just a lot of stuff, and I don't want to be like, oh my god, I have to post like 5 or 7 times every single week. But with that being said, you guys know that I still love to create videos. Like I've been putting out almost sometimes, like I think last week I did put up 5 videos. Like I've been going insane with filming because I just love it. Like I am having the best time filming and editing. I'm a workaholic, but it's like stuff that I love to do. So you guys are gonna see plenty of videos. Like I promise you that the videos are not just gonna like end, but I think that it's smart for my own mental health to like not feel like I have to be posting X amount of videos a week. If I end up posting 5 videos a week, then great. If I end up posting my normal 3, then that's great too. I think that sometimes like we try to do a little bit too much and then we overextend ourselves, and then if we don't meet that goal, then it's like, oh my god, I'm a failure, I suck, and then I stop completely. There's been so many people that I have seen here on YouTube that like I have loved their content, and then from one day to the next I'm like, where'd you go? Like, why are you not here anymore? Like I loved watching your videos. And I have never really wanted to do that to you guys. So, you know, like if I ever need to take a break, I will definitely let you guys know. I know in my heart that like if I take a break, it would really be just like me doing like 1 or 2 videos a week instead of 3, because I like doing what I do so much. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Vlogmas. If you guys watch other people's Vlogmases that you really enjoy, let me know, because I mean, I'm still gonna be watching videos. I love watching holiday themed videos. Like I'm having the best time now watching people's shop with me's and decorate for Christmas. Like I live for that. So tips on making money. Fiance was just laid off and we have a baby due in January. So first of all, I am so sorry. Like that, I can't even imagine how stressful it has to be when, first of all, just to be laid off right now during these crazy times, like that has to be so stressful. And then to be going through that and then have a baby on the way, like I am so sorry. Obviously I haven't been working in a traditional corporate job since I gave birth to Riley, so I don't know how much advice I can give, but I can say that there are still so many ways to be making money from home. And I truly believe that. I believe that with technology, as long as there's internet still, like as long as we can use our computers, there's still so many ways to make money. Not sure if you're asking like for you or for your husband or whatever, but you've got to see like what skills you have. So like if your husband has this particular skill, see if you can post those skills on things like Fiverr. There's a website called Fiverr where you can like offer your services, whether you're a graphic designer or whatnot. If you have a skill where you can make something, Etsy is a great place where you can sell stuff like that, whether they be physical products or digital products. I mean, obviously like there's a million things that go into making money. You have to have a real business plan, compare the costs of what you're making to what you're selling it, all the profit info. I'm just talking like on the surface. There's Etsy. I know that there's a lot of like online tutoring services where you can sign up to be like a teacher and you can teach children in other countries English. I think that's what they are. Probably one of like the best ways to make money, honestly, in my opinion right now, is to like be one of the people doing like Instacart and Shipped and stuff, like going and doing people's groceries, because everything that's going on right now, like people don't want to be going in the grocery stores, and I'm sure that there's a lot of like elderly people that can use those services. So things like that. I mean, Uber back in the day when people were going to a lot of places, you could make money as an Uber. Like when Joe and I used to take Ubers, like we would ask the Ubers like, are you doing okay? Like, are you supporting your family? And they would tell us like how much money they're making. So it was very surprising that they could do that on their own time and stuff like that. But I can only imagine that it's very, very difficult. You know, it's gonna obviously depend on what industry you're in or what skills you have, but I think that the most important thing is to be consistent and to be at it all the time. If you lost your job, you need to be applying to everywhere and anywhere all the time. There is no just like, well, I guess I'm just gonna be unemployed forever. Eventually, I feel like there's gotta be somewhere that you can work. And even if the first job that you get is not ideal, right? You go from a corporate job where you're making a ton of money and the only places that are hiring are offering you like half of what you were making before. Like, you know, at some point you've gotta make something, right? Like you've gotta make some kind of money. Obviously, yes, you need to pay your bills and stuff, but sometimes you've just gotta like take a temporary, you know, job and hopes that maybe in the future you'll get something that's even better. But look at what you're good at and then see how you can position it in a way that you can make money, whether that's photography, whether that's makeup artistry. Like there's a lot of things that you can do. Mowing someone's lawn, like we pay someone to mow our lawn. Excuse me, Vox, you need to stay here. So yeah, that's really all that I can say. I'm sorry that I don't have more wisdom in that sense, but I do believe that if you want to be making money, that for the most part, I'm not saying that, you know, I know that there are people that are unemployed in this country right now and losing their jobs left and right. Like, I get that. But sometimes you've got to be a little creative, think outside the box. And yes, it might not be something that you're necessarily used to, but you've got to start thinking, you know, what can I do? What will people pay me to do? And kind of find something along those lines. I guess we'll just talk about money a little bit, because I got, like I'm telling you, I got a lot of questions about finances. So this person said, finances, we're nosy. Do you still do the envelope system? So Joe and I still do the envelope system. The difference is that right now we don't use physical cash. So there's a way that we track our envelopes on an app, and we use the Good Budget app. I've talked about it before. It's a little bit complicated, and I know that I owe you guys a finance video, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, I filmed it and then I deleted it, okay? I filmed 2 finance videos and I ended up deleting them because I feel like right now with everything that's going on, I'm kind of nervous to post a finance video because, like, on one hand, I know that there are some people that could use some tips and some advice, and perhaps I will still do that, but I don't ever want any financial related videos to come across as like, I don't know, like, you know, wow, she's doing so great and other people are struggling. Because right now, I'll be honest, like, Joe and I are doing really great. Joe and I are probably in the best financial spot that we've ever been in. We've been hustling. I've been working my butt off, and I'm very proud of that, and I'm very happy about our financial situation right now. I don't take it for granted for 1 minute, because I know that YouTube could disappear in a day. Like, I get that, but I'm kind of nervous, you know, like how that's gonna come across. But I still believe in being really smart with your money, and that's why we still have an envelope system. I'm not just buying whatever the heck I want and not looking at price tags. I still make very responsible financial decisions, and the stuff that I buy, it's only because I can't afford it. And it's funny because, like, I know that I've been buying a lot of stuff lately. I know that I've been sharing a lot of hauls with you guys and buying a lot of toys for the kids and all of that. Like, there's been a lot of spending going on right now. It's just a very busy time, but I do that because every month there's a certain amount of money that Joe and I both get to spend, and we have like our personal spending money, and that's kind of like our allowance. So whatever amount of money that Joe gets, whether that's like $500 a month or $200 a month, whatever we have based on like how much money we're bringing in, whatever Joe gets, I get. So if I have $500 in my envelope, he gets $500 in his envelope. Most of the time that month, Joe will go ahead and spend that money because he likes to buy very expensive things. Like, the stuff that he likes to buy are like, you know, $300 speakers and things that are very expensive, where I kind of save my money, and the stuff that I buy is like, you know, a $20 sweater and like several $20 sweaters, but like I don't buy like big ticket items. So I know that I'm rambling at this point, but my point is that the money that we have is cash that we have to spend, and I think that we've been really responsible in how we spend that money. So like right now, the only debt that we have is our car and obviously our mortgage. Like, our house isn't paid off. We just moved into it in March, but we have like, I don't know, maybe $12,000 left on the car that we just bought me. And then after that, like, we're debt free. So maybe later down the road, this box, really, like, there's nowhere to put this. So I don't know, maybe later down the road, we'll get more into like the nitty gritty of the finances, but we still use the envelope system. We still track everything we spend. So I have a certain amount of money for groceries, a certain amount of money that's for dining out. And every time that we spend the money, even though we pay for it with a credit card, I basically deduct it out of this virtual envelope. And if I had $100 a month for dining out, if we went to Chick-fil-A and spent $25, then I know that we've got $75 left. This box needs to go. So if you guys have more finance questions, I'm sure I will ask you guys soon. Maybe we'll do just a finance related Q&A and we'll just dive into that. But I've always said, I think the most important thing for you to know is 2 things. Like, so first of all, you should know how much your expenses are. Like, how much do you pay for your house? How much do you pay for your utilities? How much do you pay for the guy that mows your lawn? Like, all of the things that are gonna hit you monthly, like, without a doubt. What are your fixed expenses? And then how much money are you bringing in? So if you're making $10,000 a month and your fixed expenses are $4,000, like your mortgage, your car, whatever is like a non-negotiable, those would be considered your fixed expenses. And you have like this number, so you'd have like $6,000, which is your variable income. That variable income that you can decide how you spend that that is the money that you then put in these envelopes. That's when you decide, okay, of these $6,000, I know that for a lot of people it's not $6,000. Like a lot of people don't have $6,000 left after they pay their bills. But if that's what it came down to, then that's what you're budgeting, and you're saying, okay, what do I want to do with these $6,000? I want this amount to be for groceries. I want this amount to be for, you know, buying new clothes. I want this to be for paying off the credit card. I want this to be for, you know, stuff for the kids. That's when all the decision making happens. And there's really only two ways to have more money to stuff in those envelopes. You can either decrease your expenses, decrease your bills, cut your cable, get a cheaper car, get a cheaper house. Like, you can decrease your expenses, or you can increase your income and get a second job, get another part-time job, a job that pays more. Like, those are the only two ways that you can end up with more money in those envelopes. But I'm gonna stop talking about that, because then this entire video is gonna be about money. So what do you do for you, like, me time? So my me time very much consists of just relaxing on the couch, scrolling through Instagram, watching YouTube videos. I love watching YouTube videos. It's like my favorite thing to do. I hardly ever watch a show these days. Like, Joe and I will watch 90 Day Fiance, and we finished watching like Jack Ryan we were watching. But other than that, like, I don't watch a lot of TV just myself. Oh, Grey's Anatomy I will watch though, because like I've been watching that since I was like 12. So I'll do a bit of that. I'm trying to get back into reading more. And really, like, what other time do I have for me? I don't have a lot more time. I do a lot of my work on my time, on me time. Like, after the kids go to bed, a lot of that is spent me working and editing, and it is work, but it gives me so much pleasure because I love it. I love it. I could do it all the time, and it makes me super happy. It makes me happy to connect with you guys. It makes me happy to actually get a video up. It makes me happy to see growth on my channel and to see that people are happy and watching my videos and enjoying the content that I put out. That gives me so much satisfaction. So that is kind of what I do, and drink wine, you know, do wine tasting parties here by myself. Like, that's a good time to me. Do you sometimes feel like you're failing at parenting? Do you have panic attacks about it? So yes, I very much sometimes feel like I'm failing at parenthood, and I don't know who doesn't. Like, are there people out there that are just like, man, I'm killing this. This is freaking awesome. I am the best mom ever. There's nothing that I do that's wrong. I am just the best that there is. Like, is there someone out there that feels that way? Because, I don't know, share your secrets with me. I definitely have a lot of mom guilt. I definitely sometimes feel like it's just like, what am I doing wrong? Like, when I have a toddler who's throwing herself on the floor because I gave her food on a plate instead of the bowl that she asked me for, or the bowl is the wrong color, like, you're like, where did I go wrong? Like, what is happening? But in those moments, like, I also try to remind myself that the kids are alive. The kids are alive, and they are healthy, and they are happy and content. Like, they don't go without needing anything. They are fed. They are fine. They are fine. And I think that the fact that I have so much mom guilt, it means that I care. So if you have mom guilt, it means that you're a good parent because you care about how your kids are doing. If you had zero mom guilt and you're just like, whatever, then maybe you don't, I don't know, maybe you don't care as much. Where did you find him? Come here and drink this wine. Come show them what you just found in the basement.
He is going to love it. Boom. He's got to be clean though.
So yes, now we have a Santa Yoda. I mean, we've had him for like the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. Yeah. But now I have to put him out here in my house. So thank you, Joseph Buell. Can you drink this, please? Can you pop your head in here and say hello? And be nice?
Hello.
Now drink this so I can try the red one. Thank you very much. It's good, right?
Yeah.
Are you happy that you can finally drink the Winc wine?
Yes. It's been sitting there.
I know, it's been sitting there. And he's been very upset. So yes, he finished my white wine, so I'm going to try this one, the Mercana Malbec. He didn't see that there's a Malbec here. Let's try this one. I love me a good red wine, and then we'll keep going. That is really good. That means that he needs to like make me a steak this week so I can drink that with it. Okay, so how do you manage to juggle kids, filming, and editing? So I will never say that it is easy because it is very hard. Most of my work that I do has to be done at night. It has to be done either at night after the kids go to sleep, or it has to be done during their nap time, because to edit a video and to obviously film a video like this where, you know, I can't just be following the kids around, it's very difficult to do it when they're awake, and it requires like an intense amount of focus. So that kind of stuff, I need to just have like 20 minutes straight to just focus and edit. Sometimes it takes much longer than 20 minutes, but I can't have like all of the interruptions, otherwise I won't get anything done. So during the day when they're awake, I can do certain things, like I can send out an email or read through emails and send invoices and do all of like the behind the scenes business stuff that I have to do. I can work on that here and there. Some days it's not gonna happen because the kids are freaking terrors, but there are some days when they're playing a little bit more independently, and I kind of have to gauge that just based on how their moods are. Luckily, a lot of the videos that you guys like to see and that I like to film are just vlogs, and I'm just showing you guys around our day. And yes, it's chaos, but I also get to film that, and I kind of get to work in that way where I don't have to say, you know, I can't work at all while they're awake. So that definitely helps. But a lot of it is just at night, and I try to focus like my day, like during the day. I try to get stuff done around the house. Now I'm trying to cook dinner a little bit more. So I'm trying to do more house stuff, getting the laundry done, all of that during the day and while they're awake. And then knowing that like at night, I have to just get some work done. And I try to be just as efficient as I can so that I'm not always working, but I have to kind of accept that if I want to be doing what I'm doing, a lot of the time at night where I could just be relaxing in bed with a face mask on, just watching mindless TV, like I can't do that. I have to actually work. So, okay, again, with the almost dropping the wine. This is super random, but from what age do you think the Love Every block set is good? I would say that that block set is probably good from the time that your baby is like 6 months old. Like, no lie, Jackson has used that since the moment that Riley got it. Like, we've been using that for the longest time, and he used it back then. He would just kind of throw the sticks around or just kind of move stuff around. Like, obviously when they're 6 months old, they can't do as much with it as Riley can now that she's almost 3, but that is the kind of toy that will grow with them. I'll link it for you guys if you guys are interested in that. I share it all the time. Like, it's one of the toys that's always out. Like, I never put it away in our toy storage stuff in the basement because the kids always play with it. So blocks of any kind I think are good at really any age. Like, as long as they can like grab things and move stuff around. Like, when they're a month old and they're just laying there, probably not. But once they start sitting up more, once they start being a little bit mobile, that's definitely a go-to toy. So you're so busy with the holidays, did you ever think of hiring help or cleaners? I have thought about hiring a cleaner, but right now with COVID, I'm scared to let random people in my house. So I don't know, like, I'm never like a fan of like having other people in my house, like not like family or friends, but like even when the pest control guy comes into my house, I'm always like on edge when there's someone in my house. And I'm just like the same way when it's, you know, like someone cleaning my house. Like, I don't know, I'm just very weird about it. I'm just awkward, and I think the only person I would like let into my house like willingly is like if I hired a personal chef and they needed to come into my house to feed me and to cook for me. Like, I'd be all about that. But I don't know, is it just me or like you guys too? Like, I don't know, I'm very weird about who is in my house. So yes, it means that my house is very dirty and it hasn't been cleaned as much as it should be cleaned, but that's why I've been telling Joe, like, after the kids go to bed, we need to do like a deep clean of this house, especially before we have guests for the holidays. So we need to get on that because this house is really bad. This is also super random, but would you ever cut your hair, like get a bob? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I really like having long hair. I don't know. It's just, I like it. I like how I feel with long hair. Easy to throw up, and I don't have to worry about the fact that it's so short and then I can't get into a ponytail and all of that. And like, if I had it shorter, then I couldn't do my everyday mom bun, you know, and my ponytail like this. So I don't know, like that would be the only thing stopping me from that. I think the shortest I ever had my hair was like in college or middle school. I can't remember when it was, but there was a time when I cut my hair to like here. Like, hair will grow back, so if I did a bob, I mean, it can always grow back, but I don't know how I would feel with a bob, honestly. I've been thinking about going and getting my hair done once things are like safe again and I don't feel so like weird going to the salon. But I've just never been the kind of person to like go and get my hair done. I've gotten 2 balayages done in my life, I think 2, and that is it. At this point, this is just my natural hair. And I don't know, like I kind of feel like going to a good salon and being like, do whatever you want with my hair, like make me look pretty, and like that's it, and just having them do their thing and trusting that obviously they're not going to make me look atrocious. But I am feeling like I have like an itch for like a change, but I don't know what I would do, if that makes any sense at all. Like, would I go lighter? Like, I'm not going to go platinum blonde, like I can't see myself with that kind of hair, but would I do highlights? I don't know, we will see. Do you still go out with friends, have a girls' night out? Absolutely not. I don't go out with friends. I don't ever have girls' nights out. Even like before the pandemic, that's not me. Like I have a handful of girlfriends that I will see one-on-one on occasion, and honestly it's not even that much, like maybe like a couple times a year. Like I've never been the kind of person that like has a group of friends that goes out with them all the time. That's just never been me. I don't know, maybe that's really sad, but that's just never been me. Do you like the age gap between Riley and Jackson, or looking back, would you have spaced it more? I've talked about this before. I would have spaced it more. I would have spaced it more by a year, so that Riley was at an age now where she just listened a little bit better, because it has been very challenging to have a toddler, and their age gap, by the way, is exactly 2 years. So I would have made it so that there was a 3-year age gap, but again, God knows what he's doing. Testing me, testing my patience, but there's a reason for it. That's been really hard. The fact that she's still not potty trained, the fact that she's not as independent as I would have liked her to be when I'm chasing after a tiny little baby and doing all the things with Jackson. So this is a good question. How do you deal with postpartum rage, and how do you stop it? I've gotten questions before about how I keep my cool with my kids, or how I stay so sane and calm, cool, and collected. I do not, okay? Like, very honestly, I do not. I get very frustrated with my kids. Love them to death, best things in my life, wouldn't change it for a thing. But I do, this time around especially, like I feel like I didn't feel it as much with just Riley, but this time around, I feel myself getting frustrated because there's a lot of things that I want to do throughout the day and they don't let me do it. And I get frustrated when Riley's not doing something, or even Jackson now, like when I'm telling them to do something and they're not listening. I know that they're little kids, and I know that for the most part they can't really understand, but there's a part of me that takes it personally. There's a part of me that it's like a control thing, like I'm the mom, you should be listening to me. Listen, why are you not listening? And like there's that control thing that then leads to frustration, and that could lead to rage, whatever you consider rage as. Like I yell, sometimes I yell and I'm not proud of it, and after I yell and lose my SHIT, then I feel really bad, and I have to kind of take a step back and say, okay, like what is it? Like, were you trying to do too much? Were you expecting too much? Like, you need a break, you need a breather, ask for help. So I do find myself in similar situations. How do you deal with it? I think the biggest thing about like postpartum rage is like the fact that we're talking about it these days is so helpful, because when I can hear someone's story about them being frustrated with their kids, I feel like, okay, this is something that happens. And I don't feel as alone in that, and I don't feel like I'm a crap mom. I feel like, okay, this is something that can happen. And so in those moments when I feel myself getting really frustrated, I can like acknowledge that that's happening. Like I can say, okay, you know what? I feel myself getting frustrated. This is gonna lead me to yell. Like I'm more aware of it. And so I think the awareness is good, and just realizing that it's gonna happen, and when it does, you know, try to forgive yourself. Ask your kid to forgive you, forgive your kid, and then move on. Like the rest of the day doesn't have to be completely shot because you lost your cool. Like I feel like I'm on a roller coaster all day long. Like I'll have moments that are great and the kids are awesome and the kids are hugging up on me and I'm loving on them and they're doing awesome, and then from one minute to the next they piss me off and I'm like a lunatic. But yes, that happens. I mean, it happens to me. So I just deal with it by trying to like acknowledge that something's happening, that I'm losing my patience before I get to like the ultimate tipping point, and just saying, okay, I feel myself getting frustrated, let me take a step back, let me ask Joe to help in, like let me see what I can do to prevent me from getting to that point that I don't like to be at. Okay, so I just had to go upstairs, and I'm gonna move this tripod around. I just had to go upstairs to change my battery, so we're gonna answer probably a few more questions and then I will go help Joe down in the basement because I'm sure that he would appreciate my help. But I know that I'm gonna forget later, so I'm gonna show you guys the 2 other bottles because we may not get to trying these. Aren't they pretty? Like I love me a good like design on a bottle. It makes it just more inviting to drink. So that one is super pretty, and then this one too. This one doesn't have the name on the front. Isn't that cute? Funk Zone. I bet this is really good, but honestly I do not want to use this thing right now. Just not in the mood. I leave that for when Joe is here so that he can help me make sure that I don't make a disaster. By the way, I'm super happy to be filming this here, like with all my Christmas stuff. And you guys can't see like the other side, but I've got like the stockings like there by the fireplace. It just makes me so happy. It's very cozy here, and It's freezing outside, by the way. This week, it's gonna be like at night, like in the 20s. And I think the highs during the days are like in the 40s and 50s. So this is probably the biggest cold front since we moved here. So that's gonna be good times, good times. I'm not sure we're gonna get snow this year. I don't know. Some people have told me that we're due for like a blizzard in February, which I'm like, okay, great. Like, what are you supposed to prepare for a blizzard? I have no idea. I'm used to preparing for hurricanes down in Miami, but like, is a blizzard different? If you guys live somewhere where there's blizzards, can you tell me what I should have on hand? Like, we have plenty of food, but what else do I need to be concerned about with a freaking blizzard? Let me know, help me out. That's super random, by the way. I acknowledge that. I know that this video is just me rambling half the time, but that's what my Q&As are like. So do you struggle giving each of your kids one-on-one time? I do. I mean, again, there's that mom guilt. Like, what is a good amount of one-on-one time? I do my best to make sure that at least once during, like, when Jackson's napping, when he takes his first nap of the day, I'm by myself with Riley. So I try to spend some good time there with her. It's not like an hour of me looking into her eyes and telling her that she's beautiful. Like, I have things to do, but I will make sure that I set out an activity for her, and I'll sit down and I'll play with her, even if that's 5 or 10 minutes. And you know, like, we're just doing the best that we can. I wish that I could just stop everything that I'm doing. And some days are more than others, right? Like, if I don't have a heavy amount of workload, like today, I didn't have a lot of emails to send out. So during Jackson's nap, I went outside with her. I took her to the little garden that we have in the backyard, and I was playing more like one-on-one with her versus like having me doing something and just watching her. And then with Jackson, I feel like I get plenty of one-on-one time with Jackson. Like, I bring him into my bed to nurse him in the morning, and I play with him throughout the day. So I feel like I am doing enough with him. So I'm not so much worried about like Jackson, but with Riley, you know, I do have a little bit more guilt just because I was used to spending so much time by myself with her. But when you're finding yourself guilting yourself about stuff like that, remember that you are just doing the best that you can, and you still have to have time to do your own things as well as, like, you know, giving your kids time. But if you feel like crap and you feel frustrated and like you can't get anything done, then you're just in a bad mood. And then, like, how good is that for your kid? You know, you've got to be in a good place too. So a lot of questions like about wanting to start vlogging. What camera do you use? When I first started YouTube, I used the Sony A50-100, and I used that one, I think, until Thanksgiving of last year. I think that's when I got my Canon G7X Mark II. So that's the one that I have currently. That's the one that I'm filming on right now. I used to have, back in the day when I did more like blogging stuff for my website and I did more pictures, I used to have a, what's it called? I don't even remember what it's called. A Nikon, some kind of bigger DSLR camera that I would use for pictures and sometimes sit downs. But now even for sit downs, I use my Canon G7X because it's just easier for me to use the same camera that I vlog in. I love this camera. If it ever breaks, I will get the same camera again, most likely, because it's been very good to me. What are you getting your hubby for Christmas? So we don't really do, like, I don't know, like gifts for each other. He kind of makes a wish list and I make my own wish list, and we buy ourselves gifts. So I haven't really looked at his gift list too much. But usually what we'll do is, like, the money that we have saved in our envelopes, like, I tell him, save your money because Christmas is around the corner and you're gonna want to buy yourself some stuff. Or like this month I told him, don't spend all your money like November 1st because I know Black Friday is gonna happen and you're gonna see stuff and you're gonna want to buy it, and then you're not gonna have any money in your envelope, so then you're gonna be sad. So we'll usually use most of like our own money for Christmas shopping, and then if we have like leftover money in our Christmas envelope, because we do have a Christmas envelope for gifts for the kids and for other people in the family, if we have leftover in there, then I'll tell him, okay, we can use some of that money to buy other things that you want or that I want or stuff for the house. So that's kind of how we usually do it. This question is interesting. Do you get social anxiety sometimes? If so, how do you deal with it? I am not the right person to be asked about social anxiety. Social anxiety, I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but I get anxiety when I leave my house. Like, I get anxiety when I go to Target. When I go to Target, I have to make sure that there is light out in the day so that it's not nighttime when I'm leaving Target. Like, if I used to go in like around 5 and I would take an hour and like at 6 o'clock it's dark, that's a problem because I think I'm gonna get abducted from the time that I leave Target outside the doors. Like, on walking to my car, I think I'm gonna get abducted. And so I leave Target looking like a crazy person and just like looking at everyone thinking that they're gonna kidnap me. That's the kind of anxiety that I have, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my brain. Honestly, like, I really go nowhere with both the kids because I have a lot of anxiety about situations like that. I always for whatever reason, I've talked about this before, right? Like I've talked about the fact that I think that the worst is gonna happen always. So I feel very safe in my house. I love my house. And how am I dealing with that? I should probably get therapy. I should probably see someone and talk to them about it. But the only thing that I can say is that, like, I'm trying to be serious, but like I realize that this is like really just weird. The more that I go to Target on my own, the better I feel and the less anxious and stressed out I feel. So I tell Joe, like, I have to go to Target because I need to help my anxiety. I need to practice. I need to practice going to Target so that I don't feel like, you know, I'm gonna get kidnapped. And I'm joking, but at the same time, like, I'm serious. Like, the more that I do those situations that are scary, the less scary they become. So I know that there's something to that, but yeah, I have a lot of social anxiety. That's just my life. Do you like eggnog? Absolutely, I love eggnog. We have some in the refrigerator and we have to finish it before we leave. A couple of people asked me how I'm doing, which is very nice for you guys to ask. And some other people said, like, I read this one question earlier today that was like, how do you like look happy when I know that you're sad? Like, you seem sad also. And I'm like, first of all, I mean, I'm sorry if you think I'm sad. I am not sad, okay? I am stressed. I get frustrated sometimes. I am overwhelmed sometimes. I miss my family, that I do. Like, I definitely wish that I was closer to my family. But overall, as a whole, I am not sad. I love my life. My life is crazier than it has ever been. But I told you all the time, like, we are so blessed. And I feel like I have everything that I have ever wanted, ever. Like, I spent my entire, like, 20s and when I was a little girl, like, thinking, like, I can't wait to be a mom one day. I can't wait to, you know, have my kids. And like, I have 2 beautiful, healthy children, and I have a husband who is awesome to me. I have a house. I have a lot of financial freedom right now. I get to do something that I love. I am happy. I am very fortunate and blessed. So as a whole, big picture, I am very happy. Yes, there are moments when I am upset or frustrated, but I wouldn't say that I'm sad. So sorry if my eyeballs look sad to you or whatever, but that's how I'm doing. On a scale from 1 to 10, how hard was the transition to 2 kids? Probably like 59. Like, it's been a hard transition. I keep saying it. It's been very hard. This question I saw earlier, and I went and I looked up the answer for you guys because I thought that you guys would think it was interesting. So, what is the most amount of money you've made off of one YouTube video? So I went and I looked, and I made my top video on my channel, which is a video that's like TMI pregnancy or something, a TMI, what they don't tell you about childbirth. That video almost has 1 million views. It has like 900 something thousand views. That video, since I made it in its lifetime, has made over $5,000. So that's something that's great about YouTube, is that sometimes you'll make a video and eventually with time it gets a lot of views and you're making money every month from a video. So like, I'll film a video today and I'll post it, and you know, it'll get a certain amount of views every month, and every month that it keeps getting views, I keep making money for it. So that's like a part of like the passive income strategy with YouTube, which is great. So that's been a great video. I had another one that I think made like about 2,000. But that's like the exception, right? Like, normally when I post a video, like these days, I can probably tell you that when I post a video, like an everyday vlog or something like that, it'll probably make me like $300 to $400. So usually that's kind of what I think about when I'm like, do I film a video? Do I feel like vlogging today? I'm like, do you feel like making $300 or $400? And that's kind of like the average of what my videos are making at this time. I can probably deep dive more into my analytics and see, but not all of them are gonna make me $5,000. But if I'm posting like 10 videos, well, I probably post more than 10, but like, let's say I'm making $400 every video and I'm posting 10 videos a month, like I could very easily be making like $4,000 plus every month. And that's the other great thing about YouTube, is that like, the harder that I work, the more effort I put into my channel, the more that I usually see in results, like financially based, you know, like the more money I end up seeing. So that gives me like the incentive to want to work more, as opposed to like a 9-to-5 job where it doesn't matter if you're working till 9 o'clock at night, you're salaried and you're making the same amount of money. So that very much caters to my personality, because I want to bust my butt and then see the rewards from it. So that's just a tidbit there for you about YouTube. Okay, maybe like 2 more questions. So what is your main reservation about having 3 kids? Time, money, patience, marriage, all of the above? Probably, honestly, like time, I guess. Like, I feel like I would definitely have less time it would definitely put a strain on my marriage because like we're barely holding it together with 2 kids. Patience, my patience is like long gone, it flew away. Money, I mean right now I feel like we could afford a 3rd kid, but the biggest thing preventing me from having a 3rd kid, I've talked about it here before, is that I'm very scared of something happening to a potential new pregnancy. I'm terrified of that, and I don't know that I could mentally deal with that. And I know that so many women go through that where they get pregnant and they suffer a loss, and I feel for everyone. Like whenever I'm like scrolling through Instagram and I read a story about you know, a pregnancy loss or infertility or anything like that, like it kills me. Like I literally have to keep scrolling because like I start sobbing, and I just like, for my mental health, sometimes I can't digest all of that. So I'm very much afraid of getting pregnant and then losing that pregnancy. And it is like, it's honestly like, it's one of the reasons why I won't try, or right now I'm thinking that I'm probably not going to try for a 3rd. I've been very blessed in that both of my pregnancies have worked out and have been healthy, and I've been able to carry both of my kids full term, and they're here, and I haven't had to go through a miscarriage or anything like that. But like mentally, I know that that would be super hard. But then there's a part of me that's like, well, yes, that's obviously always a risk, but look at what you could have like at the end. Like, you know, you can have another beautiful baby. So like I struggle a lot with that, and one part of me is like, you know, you could have another baby. Another part of me is just like still too scared. So I don't know. I honestly think that this would probably be it for us, and I don't know. I still feel super blessed that I have 2 great kids here. And with living away from my family and not having a support system here, like it would just be really hard. Like obviously, if that's in God's plan, then it will happen. But we're not actively trying. We're not trying to conceive. That's not at all in the picture right now. And who knows if it ever will be. But I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you that that is a big fear that I have, and one of the reasons why I'm very hesitant to even like entertain that idea. So again, a lot of questions about YouTube editing tips. What do you use, and any easy apps? I use Final Cut Pro to edit my videos, and I get a lot of DMs about that. I had to learn how to use Final Cut Pro because I was using iMovie like for years, and then my iMovie like wasn't compatible anymore with my camera, and I had a big issue, all of that. This big thing happened, and I was on the phone with Apple support, and they're like, sorry, we can't figure it out. And so I had to teach myself how to use Final Cut Pro in order to keep going. And I did, and I love it. And it's actually much easier to use than I thought. At first it was very intimidating, but if you know how to use iMovie, it's very similar. So that's what I use. I use Canva for like a lot of my social media stuff. That's really the biggest thing that I use. I use Epidemic Sound for my music, and the link to Epidemic Sound is always in my description box. So then the last one that I'm gonna answer is this. So how do you guys survive with you being a stay-at-home mom? I have to work for the benefits that my work will offer. So Joe and I are very lucky. I am very lucky that Joe has a really good job. He has a federal job and he works for the government. So his job has the benefits, and now that we're married, obviously I'm on his plan and all of that. So I don't have to worry about benefits for us or for the kids. That was the case even before we had kids, even before I was doing YouTube. Like when we got married, I, you know, got on his plan and all of that. And so he has a good job, but keep in mind that Joe is also 37 years old, okay? And Joe has been working at his career for a really long time. So we've always counted on Joe's job as like our main source of income. When I gave up my job, because I was working full time before I got pregnant with Riley, and I was working all the way until like I delivered her. And then after that is when I didn't go back. But when I got pregnant with Riley, we evaluated that and we were like, okay, are we gonna be able to make ends meet with just having Joe's salary to depend on? And at that point, we kind of realized that if I could just make like half of what I was making at my old advertising job, that we'd be comfortable and we'd be okay. And thankfully with my blog and with my YouTube channel and all of that, I was able to bring in half of what I was making with that advertising job, and things worked out fine for us. Now I'm making like 2 and 3 times what I was making at that full-time job, working 9 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night, which I am eternally grateful for. But the one thing that we've always done is we've always made it so that we can pay our bills with Joe's income. Anything extra that I make is extra money. That means that we can save up to take a vacation. That means that we can, you know, spend a lot more money eating out on the weekends and stuff like that. That means that we have extra money to buy ourselves whatever we want and to be buying new clothes, and for me to buy the children 500,000 pajamas because that's what I like to buy them. But if YouTube shut down tomorrow, we have his salary that would cover our mortgage, that would cover the car, that would cover like our lights, our power, or what, all the other things that are considered like essential expenses. And like at the beginning, when like before I had YouTube, you know, and I was making this money with YouTube, when I left that advertising job, we realized that we were gonna have to kind of adjust our living. We were gonna have to live a little bit less extravagant. Not that we've ever been extravagant people. I mean, like we go to Target for a 5-year wedding anniversary, like that is our extravagantness. But sometimes it's about like adjusting how you live if you want to be surviving on one income. Maybe that means that instead of having 2 cars, you have 1 car. Maybe that means that you don't take 2 vacations. Maybe you can only take 1 vacation, or maybe you can't take any vacations. Like I do believe that you have to prioritize what's most important, and I'm not ignorant to the fact that there are a lot of people that have to survive on 2 incomes, and that's the reality for a lot of people. Like I get that, and to you guys that make that work, like props to you guys, because I can't even imagine how hard it would be to like go to a physical work place and then have to come home and be with the kids and all of that, and like having both people, you know, taking meetings and calls and dealing with the kids. Like I have so much respect for people that do that. But I do think that if you want, you know, for someone to be able to stay home, sometimes that does require adjusting your living and saying, you know what, it's more important that I'm able to stay home, so I'm going to, you know, get on a super tight budget, and I'm gonna meal prep and plan so that I can buy stuff in bulk and, you know, not spend a ton of money on food, and getting creative with things like that and just lowering your expenses. Like when we moved here to Virginia, I really wanted to stay towards like the bottom end of our budget, because I didn't want to feel so stressed about, you know, what if I'm not making as much money on YouTube, and, you know, do I want to be paying a ton more for our mortgage if we could be paying less? And, you know, we've done things like that so that we're not super stressed and living like at the very top of our budget. So I hope that that answers the question. I mean, I know that it has to be really hard, and I know that especially for benefits and for healthcare and for all of those things, like at least one person needs to have good benefits, right? I mean, I think you can get like healthcare and stuff like independently. Like, there's some YouTubers here, like both the husband and the wife, like they don't go into like an actual corporate job, so they have to get healthcare on their own, but I think that's really expensive. But I don't know, like that's just how we make it work. I'm very lucky that Joe has a very good job, and everything that I make with YouTube, we try to be smart about the money that I make. Use it to like pay off our debt. Like we're trying to pay off my car really quick so that we don't have that debt. And if we get to a point where we don't have any of the car debt, then maybe we're gonna use that money to either start some kind of fund for the kids or throw it at the mortgage. I don't really know yet, but I do think that we've been smart in that we do not live above our means. We live within our means and even lower than our means, so that we don't feel so stressed about, you know, how much money is coming in and all of that. So how do you do housework, toilet breaks, etc. when you're alone with the kids? My baby's 3 weeks and significant other is going back to work next week. I'm worried I won't be able to do anything, especially because of breastfeeding. So how do I do housework and use the bathroom? I do it with my children around me, okay? Like when I have to go and Joe's not here, I have to go and they're at my feet. It's very stressful because you're trying to use the bathroom and you're distracted, and you're trying to make sure that Jackson's not putting anything in his mouth and Riley's opening up all my perfumes. Like it's not a very relaxing time, okay? It's not how the husbands get to go. It's not like Joe gets home, says I have to use the bathroom, he's in there for half an hour. No, I'm like stressed and trying to use the bathroom with both of my children around me. That's the reality, unless I wait obviously until they're down for their naps. But sometimes, you know, nature calls and you gotta use the bathroom with them around. And then same with housework. If there's stuff that has to be done, I kind of try to see, okay, what can I kind of do with them around versus what absolutely they cannot be here when I'm doing it, and then those things I have to wait till either nighttime or during their nap. But to this person, I just want to say, like, your baby is 3 weeks old, you're probably not going to get anything done, and that's okay, because you are taking care of a tiny human, and that is the like biggest, most important thing on your to-do list, is to bond with your baby, nurse your baby. Like this person is saying that they're breastfeeding their baby. Take care of your child. I don't know if this person has another child on top of that, but right now focus on taking care of your 3-week-old baby. The housework, the dishes, the laundry, like it can be done eventually. When your significant other gets home from work, you can put him to do the laundry. Try not to overwhelm yourself with like, oh my god, the house has to be spotless. No, it doesn't. Like my house is still not spotless and Jackson is 11 months old, okay? You've got to do some prioritizing, and right now at the top of your list is your 3-week-old baby. So that's all I'm gonna say for now. I know that I didn't get to a lot of questions, but I answered a lot of questions too. So there will be more Q&As in the future. Any additional questions you can leave down below. But I hope that you guys enjoyed chit-chatting with me. There's a box because I threw it over here. So thank you to Winc. I love that they sponsor these videos so that I can sit down and chat with you guys. If you guys want to check them out, again, they're down below in the description box. You guys should know by now that I only partner with brands and with companies that I think are really cool, that I think that you guys are gonna like. I don't like to bring you guys stuff that you're gonna be like, what the heck is this? So Winc is one of those companies that, you know, I'm partnering with for the 2nd time now. I will be partnering with them again, I think in January. So needless to say, I'm a big fan. So if you guys think that this is something that is up your alley, you wanna try some new wines, just go online, take that quiz. They'll send you 4 wines. 4 wines for $39. I believe that's what they come out to, plus free shipping, all of that. Super easy, a great date night. All the information will be down below in the description box. So thank you guys so much for being here. I love you to pieces, so many pieces. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.